Beloved, I call you in the very place where your heart has grown tired of waiting. I call you not from a distant place, not from a heaven unaware of your desk, your schedule, your applications, your unanswered emails, your quiet tears before another workday begins, but I call you from the center of the place where you have wondered if I still see you. I have seen the weariness you carry into your work. I have seen the heaviness that follows you into meetings, into interviews, into ordinary tasks that no one applauds, into the long silence after you gave your best and still did not receive the door you hoped would open. I know the ache of the promotion that seemed close and then passed to another. I know the applications you sent with hope, only to hear nothing back. I know the interviews that stirred expectation in your heart and then vanished into silence. I know the effort that was overlooked, the ideas that were borrowed but not credited, the sacrifices that were made in hidden places, the late nights, the early mornings, the responsibility you carried when your own soul felt tired. I know the obedience no one saw. I know the restraint you practiced when you wanted to complain. I know the way you smiled for others while quietly asking me, "Lord, when will it be my turn?" Beloved, I have not ignored the ache of watching others move ahead while you feel held in place. I have not been careless with the years that felt delayed. I have not forgotten the doors that closed, the calls that never came, the opportunities that seemed to dissolve just when your heart began to believe again. But listen deeply. The delay is not over because I have abandoned you. The delay is not over because I am still repositioning you. What looks stalled on the surface may still be moving beneath the soil of your life. A seed does not announce its roots before it breaks through the ground, yet hidden growth is still growth, and so it is with you. I did not allow this season to crush your calling, but to separate you from what could not carry your future. I did not permit every closed door because I desired to wound you, but because some rooms would have celebrated your gift while starving your spirit. Some places would have used your strength but never honored your obedience. Some tables would have given you income while slowly stealing your peace. Some assignments would have looked impressive before people, yet pulled your heart away from the purpose I planted within you, as written in book of Jeremiah. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Those words are not far from your work life. They are not separated from your career. They are speaking even here. There is a dawn entering the dark office of your soul. There is light beginning to touch the places where disappointment has gathered like a shadow. You may feel as though you are standing before the same old door, knocking again, waiting again, wondering again. But I tell you, beloved, while your eyes have been fixed on the door that did not open, I have been forming another door in a place you have not yet seen. An appointed door, a door marked not only by opportunity, but by peace. Not only by advancement, but by alignment. Not only by provision, but by purpose. So today, do not call your delay failure. Do not call your waiting rejection. Do not let the silence of people become louder than the whisper of my promise. If this word is meeting you in a season of career delay, let your heart answer in faith. Like this message is a sign that you are receiving hope in the waiting. Subscribe for more faith-filled words that will strengthen you in the hidden place. Share this with someone who is waiting on a work breakthrough and needs to remember that I am still opening doors. And write in the comments, "Lord, reposition my work life." Leave your career prayer request there as well, not because I need many words to find you, but because there is power when my children stand together in faith. Beloved, I have seen you. I have heard you. I have not wasted one tear, one application, one interview, one disappointment, one obedient step taken in silence. Your career frustration has not been invisible before me. Your work life is not outside my hand. And even now, before the new door fully appears, I am beginning to reveal that this delay has been part of divine repositioning. I am not finished with you. I am preparing the threshold. I am preparing your heart. I am preparing the work that will meet the person I have been forming in secret. Beloved, now let your heart understand what your pain could not understand when the door first closed. Many of those moments felt personal. The rejection email felt personal. The silence after the interview felt personal. The promotion given to someone else felt personal. The sudden hiring freeze after you had already begun to hope felt personal. The layoff that came without warning. The promise from a leader that was spoken with confidence and then never fulfilled. The opportunity that seemed to be forming and then disappeared like mist in the morning. All of it touched places in you that were already tender. And because it touched those tender places, you wondered if I was withholding my goodness from you. You wondered if I had stepped back. You wondered if your labor had become invisible. But I tell you, beloved, the closed door was not always rejection. Many times, it was mercy disguised as disappointment. I knew what was behind the door you begged me to open, and I loved you too deeply to let you enter what would have wounded your spirit. I saw the room before you entered it. I saw the hidden conversations, the weight that would have been placed upon your shoulders, the culture that would have drained your peace, the leadership that would have praised your gift while neglecting your soul. I saw the assignment that looked like advancement but would have pulled your family into instability. I saw the income that looked like provision but would have required you to compromise your integrity little by little until your heart no longer felt at rest before me. I saw the title that would have made others applaud you while quietly separating you from the purpose I planted inside you. You saw the door. I saw what was behind it. Do not be ashamed because one company said no. Do not carry disgrace because one leader overlooked you. Do not let an automated message decide the worth of the calling I placed in you. Do not let a hiring process, a budget cut, a restructuring, or a broken promise become the voice that names your future. People may reject what they do not recognize. Systems may delay what they do not understand. Leaders may fail to honor what heaven has been forming. But my eye has never been confused about you. I have known your name in places where your resume was never read. I have known your value in rooms where your work was dismissed. I have known the fruit in you before anyone else could see the seed. Remember Joseph, the pit looked like rejection, the prison looked like delay, the forgotten promise of the cupbearer looked like abandonment, yet every closed door was moving him away from what could not hold him and toward the palace appointed for him. Had I opened the wrong door too early, he would have settled for survival when I had prepared him for stewardship, and so it is with you. Some opportunities you lost were not lost blessings, they were exits. They were coverings. They were my hand keeping you from environments that would have consumed your strength before the appointed door arrived. Beloved, a seed buried beneath the soil may feel forgotten because it cannot see the sun. It may feel pressed down by darkness, covered by weight, hidden from every eye. But the darkness is not proof of death. The burial is not proof of abandonment. In the hidden place, roots are forming before fruit appears. Strength is reaching downward before beauty rises upward. What is unseen is becoming strong enough to sustain what will one day be seen. And this is why I have allowed certain doors to remain shut. I was not only protecting the opportunity, I was protecting the root system of your soul. As written in Proverbs, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. Ordered steps do not only include open doors. Ordered steps also include holy restraint, divine interruption, unexpected redirection, and the quiet closing of paths that would have led you away from peace. I delight in your way even when your way feels delayed. I am guiding you even when guidance looks like a door that will not move. I am ordering what you could not arrange and preventing what you could not survive. So today, stop measuring my faithfulness only by the doors that opened. Stop believing I was absent because certain doors stayed shut. Some shut doors preserved the strength you will need for the appointed door. Some no answers protected your yes. Some endings kept your spirit alive for the work that is still coming. I did not reject you when I restrained you. I did not forget you when I redirected you. I was guarding your peace, your calling, your integrity, your family, and your future testimony. The door that is appointed for you will not require you to lose yourself in order to enter it. It will carry the mark of my peace. It will carry the weight of my timing. And when you stand before it, you will understand why I loved you enough to close what you once begged me to open. Beloved, now listen deeply, because I am not only dealing with the door before you, I am dealing with the person who will walk through it. I am not only changing circumstances around your career, I am shaping the worker within your soul. I am not only arranging a place for your gift, I am forming the heart that will carry the gift without being crushed by the weight of it, seduced by the applause of it, or made bitter by the responsibility of it. Before I reveal the work in its fullness, I am repositioning the worker. Before I enlarge the assignment, I am securing the identity. Before I place you in a wider room, I am healing the places in you that once believed a room, a title, a salary, or a supervisor had power to tell you who you are. You have asked me for an open door, and I have heard you. You have asked me for movement, for clarity, for promotion, for provision, for a place where your labor will be seen and your gifts will be rightly used. But while you were asking me to change your situation, I was also working within your spirit. I was teaching you to show up with excellence, even when no one noticed. I was teaching you to serve without letting resentment poison your hands. I was teaching you to remain honest when shortcuts were available and when compromise looked easier than obedience. I was teaching you to bless difficult people without allowing their behavior to harden your heart. I was teaching you to pray through exhaustion, to carry responsibility without losing tenderness, to keep your word when others did not keep theirs, to do the hidden thing faithfully when there was no applause waiting at the end of the day. Do not despise that hidden work, beloved. Heaven has watched it all. Every time you stayed faithful when your feelings wanted to leave, every time you refused bitterness when bitterness seemed justified, every time you chose integrity when no one would have known, every time you whispered a prayer in the parking lot, at the desk, in the hallway before the interview, after the disappointing email, all of it has been seen by me. People may have missed the quiet victories, but I did not miss them. People may have measured only outcomes, numbers, titles, and visible advancement, but I have been measuring formation, surrender, patience, courage, and the purity of your yes. Beloved, your worth was never established by a title, salary, supervisor, contract, or human applause. I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine. As written in Isaiah, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine. Those words are not only for the sanctuary, they are for the office. They are for the job search. They are for the interview room. They are for the season when your name seems forgotten by people but is still held before me. You are not more valuable when hired. You are not less valuable when overlooked. You are not more chosen when promoted. You are not less loved when delayed. I named you before any employer could name your position. I redeemed you before any institution could approve your application. I called you mine before any human voice called you qualified. This is why I am careful with the next door. If I opened a wider door while your identity was still bleeding from the last season, the door could become a burden instead of a blessing. If I placed you before people while your heart was still desperate for their approval, their praise could become a chain and their silence could become torment. If I gave you increase while you still believed increase was proof of worth, the assignment could become an idol. And I love you too much to let the thing I give you take the place that belongs only to me. I am not delaying you to diminish you. I am strengthening you so that what comes next can rest upon a soul that is rooted, steady, and free. There are capacities being built in you that cannot be built by arrival alone. Patience is being strengthened in the hidden place. Discernment is being sharpened through doors that almost looked right but did not carry peace. Humility is being formed as you learn to serve without needing every act to be announced. Courage is rising as you keep moving after disappointment. Emotional steadiness is growing as you learn not to let one email, one interview, one leader, one meeting, one delay decide the condition of your spirit. Spiritual maturity is deepening as you discover that my presence is not proven only by fast answers, but by sustaining grace in the waiting. Remember David, he was anointed before he was enthroned. He carried oil upon his head while still returning to fields, sheep, obscurity, and service. The crown did not come immediately after the anointing, because the shepherd had to be formed before the king could be revealed. He had to learn courage where few were watching. He had to learn worship in lonely places. He had to learn restraint before enemies. And so it is with you. There may be an anointing upon your work that has not yet been matched by visible placement, but do not call that contradiction failure. Hidden fields can prepare a soul for public rooms. Quiet obedience can carry more weight in heaven than loud success before people. So today, do not let professional delay become personal condemnation. Do not say, I am behind, as though heaven keeps time by the anxious calendars of men. Do not say, I have failed, because one season has not unfolded the way you imagined. Heaven is not measuring you by the speed of another person's journey. Heaven is not confused by your age, your resume gaps, your detours, your unfinished plans, or the years you think were lost. I am not late in the life I am guiding. I am not embarrassed by the path I have allowed. I am gathering wisdom from what you survived, tenderness from what you endured, discernment from what disappointed you, and strength from what tried to break your hope. I am repositioning the worker before I reveal the work. I am making you able to stand in the next room without bowing to it. I am making you able to receive honor without worshiping it. I am making you able to carry responsibility without losing peace. I am making you able to walk through the appointed door as my child first and my servant second, because your assignment must flow from belonging, not from fear. Before I open wider doors, I often heal the identity wounds that would make you beg for approval inside those doors. Let me heal that place now. Let me quiet the ache that says you must prove yourself to be loved. Let me break the agreement with shame. Let me remind you again, you are mine, and from that place, the work that is coming will no longer own you. It will serve the purpose I planted in you. Beloved, the pressure around you is not meaningless. I know the restlessness that has begun to move inside your workday, the strange heaviness that comes when you sit in a place that once felt manageable, the shrinking peace that makes familiar tasks feel tighter than before. I know how the old role begins to feel narrow, how conversations that once seemed ordinary now press upon your spirit, how responsibilities you once carried with ease now feel like garments that no longer fit the person I am forming within you. You may look around and wonder why you feel unsettled when nothing obvious has changed. You may ask why your spirit feels stirred, why your peace feels crowded, why the former place feels smaller, why the same environment now touches your soul with a tension you cannot easily explain. Listen deeply. The pressure you feel is not always a sign that you are failing. Many times it is. My hand gently loosening you from what can no longer hold you. The discomfort is not always punishment. The restlessness is not always rebellion. The shrinking peace is not always confusion. Sometimes I allow the old place to become uncomfortable because you would remain there too long if it continued to feel like home. Sometimes I permit the familiar room to feel narrow because I am preparing you for a different entrance. Sometimes I let the old door press against your shoulders so you can begin to understand that I did not create you to stay forever in what was only meant to serve a season. But beloved, do not mistake transition for panic. Do not confuse my gentle loosening with the voice of fear demanding that you make reckless choices. I am not calling you into an impulsive decision. I am not calling you to leave with bitterness in your mouth or revenge in your heart. I am not calling you to make fear-driven movements simply because the pressure has increased. Pressure may announce transition, but anxiety will try to counterfeit obedience. Panic will tell you to run before I have spoken. Wounded pride will tell you to prove a point before I have prepared the next step. Bitterness will tell you to slam a door that I may be asking you to exit with grace. So today, let your spirit become still enough to know the difference. There is a holy movement that carries peace, even when it requires courage, and there is a fearful movement that carries haste, even when it sounds reasonable. There is a step of obedience that may tremble but still trusts me, and there is a step of anxiety that tries to control the future because it no longer wants to wait. I am not asking you to ignore the pressure. I am asking you to bring the pressure into my presence. Let me interpret what you feel before you let your emotions make decisions your spirit has not discerned. Remember the people of Israel at the Red Sea. Behind them was the pressure of Pharaoh's army. Before them was a water they could not open by human strength. Around them was the sound of fear, the temptation to believe they had been led out only to be destroyed. Yet the pressure behind them did not mean I had abandoned them. It meant deliverance was about to be revealed in a way they could not manufacture. They could not build the path. They could not force the waters apart. They could only stand where I had led them and watch my salvation appear at the appointed time, as written in Exodus. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. And so it is with you. The pressure behind you does not mean your career story is collapsing. The narrowness around you does not mean you have failed. The strange tension with the old role does not mean you are ungrateful. It may mean the threshold is near. It may mean I am allowing what once held you to loosen its grip. It may mean I am teaching you that your security was never in the familiar structure, but in my hand upon your life. The old door feels narrow because I am preparing another entrance. The old place feels tight because I am expanding the person who once fit there. Beloved, do not despise the pressure, but do not obey it blindly. Bring me your restlessness. Bring me your discomfort. Bring me the questions you are afraid to speak. I will not shame you for feeling the strain of transition. I will guide you through it. I will show you what must be endured, what must be released, what must be completed, and what must be stepped away from in peace. This pressure is not proof that you are being punished. It may be the sound of movement beginning beneath the surface, the first shaking of a season that can no longer contain what I have placed within you. And when you recognize that transition is near, you must learn to discern the next step with wisdom. Not every urge is obedience. Not every open exit is my appointed door. Not every frustration is an instruction to move. But when I speak, my voice will not drive you like fear. It will lead you like a shepherd. It will call you forward with steadiness, with conviction, with peace that remains even when the step requires courage. I am moving you out of what has served its time and toward what I have prepared. Stand still long enough to hear me, then move when I say move. So today, beloved, do not confuse waiting with doing nothing. Do not let the word waiting become a hiding place for fear. Do not let patience become an excuse for paralysis. I did not call you to anxious striving, but I did call you to faithful movement. I did not ask you to force a door open with fear, but I do ask you to walk toward the door where my peace is already shining. There is a difference between trying to control the outcome and obeying the light I have already given. There is a difference between running ahead of me and refusing to move because disappointment has made your feet afraid. Waiting on me does not mean your hands become idle, your wisdom becomes silent, and your courage falls asleep. Waiting on me means your heart stays surrendered while your steps remain obedient. Beloved, divine timing does not cancel practical obedience. My appointed time does not require you to neglect what is already in your hand. Update what must be updated. Prepare what must be prepared. Send the application with wisdom, not desperation. Strengthen the resume without making it the source of your identity. Practice for the interview without allowing the interview to become your God. Learn the skill that has been placed before you. Study the field you are being drawn toward. Ask wise questions. Seek counsel from those who carry fruit, humility, and discernment. Steward your present responsibilities with clean hands while I prepare your next assignment. Do not abandon faithfulness in the place you are standing, simply because your heart has begun to long for the place that is coming. I see the tasks that feel ordinary, and I tell you they are not wasted. The email sent with excellence, the conversation handled with restraint, the report completed without bitterness, the time used to learn, the character gap acknowledged instead of defended, the apology given when pride wanted to remain silent, the habit corrected before increase came. All of these are movements of obedience. People may only call them preparation, but I see worship in them when they are done unto me. As written in Colossians, "Whatsoever ye do, do it heartily, as to the Lord, and not unto men." This is not only for the pulpit, this is for the workplace, this is for the search. This is for the hidden season, when your next door has not yet opened, but your obedience is still speaking before heaven. Do not say, "I am waiting on God," while refusing the small instruction I have already placed in your spirit. Do not say, "If God wants it, He will do everything," while neglecting the field I have asked you to cultivate. I can open doors no person can shut, but I also teach my children to walk. I can bring favor before decision makers, but I also shape the diligence that will carry you once favor arrives. I can bring your name into a room you never entered, but I also train your hands so that when the room opens, you are not unprepared for the responsibility. The miracle is mine, but the obedience is yours. The outcome belongs to me, but the yes must rise from your heart. Beloved, many answers come while you are walking, not while you are frozen at the threshold. Clarity often unfolds after obedience begins. You have asked me to show you the whole road, but sometimes I give only the next lamp of light because I am teaching you to trust my presence more than your map. Some doors do not reveal their hinges until you move closer. Some instructions do not make sense until your feet begin to obey. Some provision appears only after the jar is lifted, only after the net is cast, only after the river is approached, only after the seed is planted. If you wait for perfect certainty before obeying, fear will disguise itself as wisdom and keep you standing outside a door I am asking you to approach. Remember Peter, the storm was not silent when I called him. The waves were not gentle when he heard my voice. The water did not become solid before his foot moved. He stepped down while the sea still looked impossible, yet I was already present in the storm. As spoken in the gospel, "Come." And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. Beloved, do you see it? The word came before the surface changed. The obedience came before the full understanding. The miracle met him in motion. He did not walk because the water was trustworthy. He walked because my voice was trustworthy. And so it is with you. Do not wait for every fear to disappear before you take the next obedient step. Do not wait for every person to approve before you follow the peace I have given. Do not wait until your confidence feels perfect before you prepare. Move with humility. Move with prayer. Move with counsel. Move with integrity. Move without surrendering your peace to the outcome. Apply, but do not worship the reply. Interview, but do not let one person's decision name your worth. Prepare, but do not strain as though everything depends on your strength alone. Serve where you are, but do not let guilt chain you to a place I am releasing you from. Learn what is needed, repair what is broken, confess what must be confessed, and let obedience become the path beneath your feet. But as you move, beloved, guard your heart, for obedient movement cannot carry bitterness as its secret companion. Do not let the wound from the last workplace travel into the next door. Do not let the leader who overlooked you become the voice you hear in every future room. Do not let rejection teach you suspicion. Do not let delay teach you hardness. I am calling you forward, but I am also calling you clean. The next step is not only about where you will work. It is about what spirit you will carry when you arrive. Move when I speak, but release what would poison your movement. Walk toward the appointed door with open hands, steady feet, and a heart that refuses to be ruled by what the last season did not give you. Beloved, I will not let the wound of the old workplace become the weight you carry into the new season. I have seen what tried to attach itself to you while you waited. I have seen the resentment that rose when a manager used your strength, but did not honor your sacrifice. I have seen the quiet envy that came when a coworker was promoted while you were still carrying the heavier load in silence. I have seen the distrust that formed after rejection, after interviews that went nowhere, after promises that were spoken with confidence and then left unfinished. I have seen the anger of being underpaid, overlooked, stretched beyond fairness, and expected to smile while your heart was becoming tired. And yes, beloved, I have also seen the disappointment you carried toward me, the question you were afraid to pray aloud, the ache that wondered why I allowed the delay when I knew how deeply you needed movement. But now listen deeply. I am not condemning you for feeling pain. I am not asking you to pretend that injustice was harmless. I am not asking you to call dishonor honorable, or to excuse what was wrong, or to return your trust to hands that misused it. Forgiveness is not the denial of what happened. Forgiveness is the refusal to let what happened become the ruler of your future. It is the releasing of the old pain from the place where it has been making decisions for you. It is allowing me to cleanse your discernment so you do not see every leader through the wound of the last leader, every opportunity through the fear of the last disappointment, every open door through the suspicion of the last closed one. Beloved, bitterness will try to sound like wisdom. It will say, do not trust anyone. It will say, do not hope again. It will say, expect to be overlooked, expect to be used, expect to be rejected before anyone has even spoken. But bitterness does not protect your calling. It imprisons it. It narrows your vision. It dims your confidence. It makes obedience feel dangerous, even when I am the one calling you forward. I did not bring you through the last season so that your heart would become hard at the threshold of the next. I brought you through so that your endurance would become light. Your life is meant to become a lamp, beloved, not a hidden lamp buried beneath disappointment, not a flickering flame smothered by resentment, but a steady light that shows others what I can do with a soul that chose faithfulness under pressure. There are people who will one day need the wisdom you gained in this season. There are weary workers who will be strengthened because you did not let pain make you cruel. There are discouraged hearts who will see my hand upon your life and believe again that delay is not abandonment. But bitterness dims the testimony I am forming. It turns the lamp inward. It makes the story about who wounded you instead of what I redeemed. Remember Joseph. He was betrayed by those who should have protected him. He was sold, falsely accused, imprisoned, forgotten, and delayed. Yet when the appointed time came, I did not only bring him into influence. I had formed his heart to carry influence without revenge. He stood before those who wounded him, and the pain of the pit did not govern the wisdom of the palace. As written in Genesis, "Ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good." Do you see it, beloved? Joseph did not deny the evil. He did not pretend betrayal was kindness, but he saw that my purpose was greater than their intention. He allowed me to interpret the wound, and because of that, his authority became a place of provision instead of punishment. And so it is with you. I am healing the places where delay became accusation. I am cleansing the places where disappointment became suspicion. I am softening the places where unfairness made your heart want to defend itself against everyone. Release the names. Release the rooms. Release the conversations you keep replaying. Release the comparison with the one who advanced before you. Release the anger that says your value was stolen because someone failed to honor it. They did not create your calling, and they cannot cancel it. So today, forgive with courage. Forgive with tears, if tears must come. Forgive without pretending. Forgive without returning to bondage. Forgive because your heart belongs to me, and I will not allow old pain to sit on the throne of a new season. Let me purify the worker before I reveal the next work. Let me wash the bitterness from your hands, so you can receive what is coming, without suspicion, without poison, without fear, ruling your obedience. For after the heart is released, beloved, you will be able to see more clearly, and you may discover that the next assignment I reveal will not look exactly like the dream you first carried, but it will carry the purpose I never removed. Beloved, do not be afraid if the next door does not look like the picture you first carried in your heart. Do not be troubled if the path bends in a way you did not expect, if the company is different, if the industry changes, if the team is smaller, if the city is unfamiliar, if the schedule is quieter, if the assignment does not carry the same outward appearance that you imagined when the dream first awakened within you. I know the dream you carried. I know the prayers you prayed over it. I know the names, the places, the roles, the timelines, the images you held in secret. I know what you thought the answer would look like when it finally arrived. But beloved, I am not bound by the shape you first understood. I am faithful to the purpose I planted, even when I change the container that must carry it. There are times when I preserve the calling by redirecting the career. There are times when I protect the gift by moving it into a different environment. There are times when I do not place you where you expected, because the place you expected could not sustain what I am growing in you. You may have imagined one title, but I may open a door to another responsibility that carries greater peace. You may have imagined one company, but I may lead you to a hidden team where your character will be honored and your spirit will breathe again. You may have imagined a public assignment, but I may first send you into quieter work where your wisdom deepens without the noise of performance. You may have imagined a familiar industry, but I may shift you into a field where the same gifts can bear fruit in ways you never considered. Do not call redirection failure. Do not call a change path abandonment. Do not say the dream died because the first picture did not survive. Sometimes the dream must lose its old garment so it can receive the form I always intended. Sometimes I remove the container because the purpose inside it is too sacred to be trapped there. Sometimes I close the door you thought was destiny because I know what waits behind it, and I open another door that does not impress your pride at first, but protects your peace, strengthens your integrity, and leads you into fruit that remains. I did not delay you because I forgot the dream. I delayed you because I was aligning the dream with the place where it can live and bear fruit. I was aligning the gift with the soil that could nourish it. I was aligning your work with your healing, your provision with your peace, your assignment with your obedience, your influence with your maturity. You saw delay, but I was arranging fit. You saw silence, but I was shifting pieces unseen. You saw the dream standing still, but I was moving you toward the ground where the seed could finally take root. Beloved, I know the fear of starting over. I know how your heart trembles when you think of beginning again, learning new systems, meeting new people, proving yourself in another room, leaving behind what is familiar, even when the familiar has become heavy. I know the grief that comes when a path you invested years into begins to change direction. You wonder whether the time was wasted. You wonder whether the skills will matter. You wonder whether the relationships, the disappointments, the long nights, the endurance, the lessons learned under pressure will simply disappear behind you like dust on an old road. But listen deeply. Nothing surrendered to me is wasted. The years were not wasted. The skills were not wasted. The conversations were not wasted. The resilience you gained, the discernment sharpened through difficult rooms, the patience formed through delay, the wisdom learned through mistakes, the relationships built in hidden seasons, the strength that rose after disappointment, all of these are transferable treasures. You are not beginning again as the person you were before. You are stepping forward carrying wisdom you did not have, humility you did not understand, endurance you could not have learned in ease, and discernment that will guard you in the next door. What you learned in one field may feed another. What you survived in one workplace may give you compassion in another. What you carried in one season may become language for people you have not yet met. I can take administration and turn it into ministry. I can take creativity and place it in business. I can take leadership formed in a difficult team and use it to build a healthy one. I can take the burden you carried in silence and turn it into wisdom that brings order, mercy, and light to another place. The purpose remains mine, even when the path changes. Remember Ruth. She did not plan the field where her redemption would begin. She walked through loss, uncertainty, grief, and displacement. She left what was familiar and followed the path of covenant when the future was not clear. She did not enter Bethlehem with a perfect career plan, a secure title, or a visible promise. She entered with loyalty, humility, and willingness. Then I led her to a field she did not originally plan to enter. And that field became part of a redeemed future larger than she could see while she was gathering grain. As written in Ruth, "The Lord recompense thy work, and a full reward be given thee of the Lord God of Israel." Do you see it, beloved? The field was ordinary, but it was appointed. The work was humble, but it was covered. The step was simple, but heaven was moving through it. Ruth did not know every outcome when she bent down to gather what was before her. She obeyed in the field she was given, and I wove her obedience into a story of provision, belonging, and legacy. And so it may be with you. The next place may not look dramatic at first. It may not announce itself with thunder. It may appear as a conversation, a small opening, a quiet invitation, a burden that will not leave your spirit, a practical opportunity that carries unusual peace. So today, stop demanding that the next door look exactly like the old dream before you call it mine. Let me redefine the shape without surrendering the purpose. Let me lead you into the field that carries provision, even if it is not the field you once imagined. Let me surprise you with a doorway marked by peace instead of noise, integrity instead of performance, alignment instead of striving. Watch now for quiet confirmations, not only dramatic signs. Watch for the peace that remains after prayer. Watch for the door that does not require you to betray your conscience. Watch for the small step that keeps returning with gentle clarity. For I often open appointed doors through simple obedience, and the next threshold may be nearer than you think. Beloved, watch now for the quiet signs of an appointed door. Do not measure the next opportunity only by how wide it appears, how quickly it answers your frustration, how impressive it sounds to others, or how much it flatters the ambition that has been aching inside you. Not every open door is an appointed door. Not every invitation carries my peace. Not every promotion is provision. Not every faster path is faithful. Some doors shine brightly on the outside while asking you to leave. Your peace, your health, your family, your honesty, or your devotion to me standing outside the threshold. Do not run through every open door, beloved. Some doors are open only because the enemy also knows how tired you are of waiting. He knows the ache of delay. He knows the weariness that comes after rejection. He knows how tempting it becomes to choose anything that feels like movement after a long season of stillness. But I am teaching you discernment, not suspicion. I am not asking you to fear every opportunity. I am asking you to test the spirit of what is placed before you. Does it invite obedience, or does it demand compromise? Does it carry peace beneath the responsibility, or does it stir a warning you keep trying to silence? Does it align with the character I have been forming in you, or does it ask you to become someone you know I have delivered you from being? The door I appoint may require courage, but it will not require you to abandon me. It may stretch your faith, but it will not ask you to betray your conscience. It may call you into new territory, but it will not demand that you build your future on dishonesty, neglect, vanity, or hidden disobedience. Watch for peace that remains after prayer. Watch for alignment that does not disappear when emotions become quiet. Watch for wise counsel that confirms what your spirit has already sensed. Watch for provision that arrives without manipulation. Watch for repeated confirmation, not because you are demanding signs from heaven, but because I am gentle with hearts that have been wounded by delay. Beloved, impatience will say, choose quickly so you can escape the pressure. Discernment will say, wait until you know where the light is leading. Impatience will choose a door merely because it is not the old room. Discernment will ask whether the next room is marked by my presence. Impatience will call relief the same thing as calling. Discernment will know that temporary relief can still become bondage if it pulls your soul away from what is true. I did not bring you this far so that desperation would become your guide at the threshold. I am your shepherd. As written in Psalm, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He leadeth me beside the still waters. Remember David. He was anointed long before he sat on the throne. The oil touched his head before the crown touched his life. He carried a promise while still serving in fields, hiding in caves, and wading through danger he did not choose. Yet, when he had chances to seize what had been promised, he refused to take the throne by dishonor. He would not let ambition stain obedience. He would not let delay justify compromise. He trusted my timing more than his own opportunity, and because he waited without surrendering integrity, the crown came in the appointed way. And so it is with you. Do not let your hunger for movement make you careless with your peace. Do not let the pain of the last season make you agree to a future that wounds what I am healing. The appointed door will carry the weight of obedience, not the pressure of compromise. It will call you forward, but it will not pull you away from my voice. And when you recognize it, when peace, counsel, integrity, provision, and repeated confirmation begin to gather like light upon the threshold, then you must not remain outside because fear remembers the last disappointment. Discern the door carefully, beloved. Then prepare your heart to step through with courage. So today, beloved, do not remain standing outside the door I am opening because the last door hurt you. Do not let an old rejection become the guard standing before a new threshold. Do not let the memory of what closed become louder than the peace I am placing before you now. I know the last season taught your heart to hesitate. I know you learned to brace yourself before hoping. I know you began to expect disappointment before the answer even arrived. Because disappointment came so many times that your soul started preparing for it in advance. But I am telling you now, the fear of the last season is not your counselor. The pain of the last door is not your prophet. The voice of what failed before does not have authority to decide what I am appointing now. Beloved, I know the fears that rise when the appointed step comes near. You fear failing again. You fear being rejected again. You fear being unseen again after giving your strength, your skill, your loyalty, and your quiet excellence. You fear losing stability, even when the stability you are holding has been draining the life from your spirit. You fear being too old, too late, too inexperienced, too behind, too wounded, too ordinary, too much, or not enough. You look at the doorway and wonder whether you have the strength to begin again. You wonder whether your confidence can survive another no. You wonder whether your heart can bear another waiting room. But listen deeply. I am not asking you to step forward as someone who has never been afraid. I am asking you to step forward as someone who knows I am with them. You are not stepping through as one abandoned. You are stepping through as one led. You are not moving as one forgotten. You are moving as one marked. You are not beginning as one empty. You are beginning as one strengthened by the very season that tried to convince you that you were weak. I have carried you through rooms where you felt invisible. I have sustained you through decisions that did not honor you. I have kept your spirit alive when your work became heavy and your hope became thin. And if I carried you there, will I not carry you here? If my hand held you in the pressure, will my hand leave you at the threshold? No, beloved. I am the same God in the hallway that I am in the open door. I am the same God in the hidden preparation that I am in the visible appointment. Do not despise the smallness of the first light. The new season may not appear at once like a full sunrise stretched across the whole sky. It may begin as a small light on the edge of the morning, a quiet opening, a single conversation, an email, a name mentioned, an interview offered, a burden returning to your spirit again and again, a disciplined idea you can no longer ignore. But small light is still light when it comes from me. Dawn does not ask the night for permission before it begins. It simply appears, first as a hint, then as a line, then is a brightness that cannot be denied, and so it is with you. Do not reject the first ray because it is not yet noon. Do not call the beginning insignificant because it does not yet look complete. If I am in the light, follow it. As written in Joshua, be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. For the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest. Beloved, those words were not spoken to a heart standing in comfort. They were spoken at the edge of movement, at the border of promise, when the old wilderness was behind and a new land was ahead. Courage was needed because the step was real. Faith was needed because the future still required obedience. I did not say there would be no giants, no rivers, no battles, no unfamiliar ground. I said I would be with him, and I say the same to you. Be strong, not because the workplace will always be easy, but because I am with you. Be courageous, not because every answer is already visible, but because my presence goes with you whithersoever you go. So move, beloved, move with prayer, but move. Send the application if I have been prompting you to send it. Make the call if peace has been pressing gently upon your spirit. Accept the interview without bowing to the fear that says you will only be disappointed again. Prepare the portfolio, strengthen the proposal, ask the wise question. Reach out to the person whose counsel carries humility and fruit. Begin the disciplined work you keep postponing because fear has told you it will not matter. It matters. Your obedience matters. Your preparation matters. Your yes matters. Do not worship the opportunity, but do not despise it either. Do not force the outcome, but do not refuse the step. I am not calling you into reckless movement. I am calling you into obedient courage. There is a holy difference. Recklessness runs because it cannot bear waiting. Obedient courage moves because it has discerned my voice. Recklessness ignores wisdom. Obedient courage seeks counsel and still refuses to be ruled by fear. Recklessness tries to prove worth. Obedient courage moves from worth already received. Beloved, you do not need this door to prove that you are valuable. You are already mine. You do not need the next yes to heal the last no. I am already healing you. You do not need a title to become significant. I have already placed purpose within you. Move from identity, not for identity. Step forward as one loved, one guided, one covered, one carried. And when fear speaks again, answer it with remembrance. Remember the closed doors that protected you. Remember the pressure that prepared you. Remember the bitterness I called you to release. Remember the quiet signs I taught you to discern. Remember that I have been working in the worker before revealing the work. The last season did not end your story. It trained your discernment. It deepened your humility. It purified your motives. It showed you what cannot come with you. Now do not let it chain you to the place it was meant to prepare you to leave. Beloved, your career story is beginning to move from frustration to testimony, from hidden obedience to visible alignment, from striving for a place to being led into an appointed door. The delay will not only be something you survived, it will become something I use. The waiting will not only be remembered as pain, it will be remembered as preparation. The tears, the applications, the closed doors, the quiet endurance, the mornings when you still rose and did what was right. All of it has been gathered before me. And now, as the light begins to rise, step through without carrying the fear of the last season. Step through with clean hands, a steady heart, and eyes fixed on me, for I am not only opening a door, beloved, I am making your work a testimony of my timing. Beloved, I am turning what you thought was only delay into a testimony of my timing. I am not bringing you into a new season only for your own blessing. I desire for your life to become a lamp that guides many others through their night. I am not repositioning your work merely so that your income may increase, or your name may be recognized, or your resume may look stronger in the eyes of people. I care for your provision. Yes, I know the bills, the needs, the responsibilities, the pressure that has rested upon your shoulders. But I am doing something deeper than provision alone. I am aligning your work with peace, with purpose, with integrity, with faithful fruitfulness, so that what I do in you will also become light through you. There are people who will one day stand where you have stood. They will sit in their cars before work with tired eyes and a heavy spirit. They will open emails with trembling hope and find another closed door. They will watch others move ahead and wonder if their own life has been forgotten. They will feel trapped in rooms that drain them, in positions that do not honor them, in seasons where their gifts seem buried beneath survival. And when they meet you, when they hear what I brought you through, when they see peace in your eyes and wisdom in your words, they will know that delay is not always denial. They will know that the hidden season does not have the final word. They will know that I still lead my children into appointed doors. Beloved, the rejection will become wisdom. You will know how to discern what is not for you without letting bitterness rule your heart. The delay will become maturity. You will not move with the frantic spirit of one who must prove something to everyone, but with the steadiness of one who has learned that my timing is not careless. The hidden obedience will become authority. The mornings when no one applauded you, the days when you did what was right, though your heart felt unseen, the moments when you kept serving with clean hands while waiting for me to open the way, all of this has been forming a weight in your spirit that cannot be manufactured by quick success. And the tears will become compassion. You will not mock the weary. You will not despise the one who is still waiting. You will become gentle with those who are still learning how to hope. As written in Matthew, "Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on an hill cannot be hid." Beloved, I did not place light within you so that it would remain buried under disappointment. I did not carry you through pressure so that you would disappear into fear. I did not preserve your heart in the wilderness so that your story would end in silence. There is a light I have been tending within you, even when you thought the flame was small. There is a testimony I have been shaping through the very places that seem too delayed, too confusing, too hidden, too painful to have purpose. But I waste nothing. I gather what surrendered hearts place in my hands, and I breathe upon it until even the ashes become evidence of my faithfulness. Do not think the next door is random. Do not receive it as though it arrived by accident, or by luck, or by human favor alone. When I lead you into alignment, you will see that my hand was present in the hallway, present in the silence, present in the unanswered application, present in the conversation that seemed small, present in the closed door that made you weep, present in the courage that rose again after disappointment. The new door will not be an idol for you to worship. It will be a place for you to serve. It will be a place where your gifts can breathe without your soul being consumed. It will be a place where provision and purpose can walk together, where peace becomes a sign, where integrity remains intact, where your work bears fruit that lasts. So today, bring me the timeline you have been gripping. Bring me the old wound that still tries to speak when a new opportunity appears. Bring me the fear that says you are too late. Bring me the anger over what did not happen when you thought it should. Bring me the need to understand every delay before you trust me again. Surrender the calendar, forgive the old rooms, receive courage for the threshold. Let my hand rest over your work life, over your decisions, over your next step, over the door I am preparing and the door I am closing in mercy. Beloved, your work will become a testimony of my timing, not because every day was easy, but because I was faithful in every season. Not because every door opened, but because the appointed door opened at the appointed time. Not because you were never weary, but because you kept letting me lead you back into hope. And when others ask how you made it through the waiting, you will not only tell them about your strength, you will tell them about my hand. Now, beloved, let your heart become still before me, and let this prayer rise from the place where disappointment has been sitting too long. Father, I bring before you this work life, this tired hope, this career story that has carried closed doors, delayed answers, silent seasons, and moments when the soul wondered if heaven had overlooked the labor of its hands. I bring the applications that were never answered, the interviews that ended in silence, the promises that seemed to fade, the environments that drained strength, the years that felt hidden, and the dreams that began to ache beneath the weight of waiting. Lord, touch every place where career disappointment has wounded trust. Touch every memory that still tightens the heart when a new opportunity appears. Touch every place where rejection became fear, where delay became shame, where comparison became heaviness, and where the listener began to wonder if their gifts had been buried without meaning. Beloved, I am near to the brokenhearted, and I do not despise the tears you have cried over your work. So I speak healing now over the places you stopped talking about because the pain became too familiar. I break the fear that says you will always be overlooked. I break the fear that says every door will close. I break the fear that says your age, your background, your past mistakes, your unfinished path, or your hidden season has disqualified you from my appointed purpose. I remove the bitterness that tries to follow you into the next door. I wash your heart from resentment toward people who did not recognize you, toward rooms that did not honor you, toward timelines that did not unfold the way you prayed. I give you clean hands for the new season, a steady heart for the threshold, and a spirit that can walk forward without dragging yesterday into tomorrow. Father, sharpen discernment now. Let this beloved one know the difference between an open door and an appointed door. Let them recognize peace that comes from you, not merely relief that comes from escaping pressure. Guard them from counterfeit opportunities that flatter ambition while stealing rest, that offer movement while requiring compromise, that promise increase while weakening integrity. Let the door you appoint be marked by peace, wisdom, provision, obedience, and holy alignment. As written in Proverbs, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. So direct this path, Lord. Direct the resume, direct the application, direct the conversation, direct the interview, direct the timing, direct the decision, direct the transition, direct the quiet step that no one else sees but heaven has already prepared. I pray practical grace over you now, beloved. Grace for applications, that you will not send them from panic but from obedience. Grace for interviews, that your words will be clear, your spirit steady, your gifts visible, and favor will surround you in rooms where you are meant to be received. Grace for transitions, that you will know when to stay, when to prepare, when to release, and when to step through. Grace for your current assignment, even if it is difficult. That peace will guard your mind, strength will rise for what must still be done, and your integrity will remain bright while I prepare the next place. Grace to learn, grace to wait, grace to move, grace to answer, grace to say no, grace to say yes, and grace to obey without panic. Beloved, your work life is not forgotten. Your gifts are not buried without purpose, and your appointed door will not be missed when you walk with me. Do not fear that one wrong step will destroy what my mercy is guiding. Do not fear that you must force what only my hand can open. Walk with me. Listen for my voice. Bring me your decisions before you bring them to your fear. Let my peace rule in your heart. I have not been absent from this career delay. I have been repositioning you, forming you, healing you, and preparing a testimony that will carry more than income, more than status, more than relief. It will carry light. So today, as an act of faith and agreement, write these words in the comments. God is repositioning my work life. Write it not as a performance, but as a declaration over the fear that tried to silence your hope. Write it as a seed. Write it as a surrender. Write it as a yes before the full picture is visible. Let your own words become a witness that you are no longer calling this delay abandonment, but divine repositioning in my hands. And if this prayer has strengthened your faith, beloved, like this video, so this message can reach another weary soul standing in a career delay. Subscribe for more God-centered messages in seasons of waiting, pressure, and appointed transition. Share this with someone who has been discouraged in their work life, someone who needs to know that closed doors do not have the final word. And leave your specific prayer request in the comments, because there are others who will stand with you, believe with you, and pray with you while I continue to make the way clear. Receive my peace now. Receive courage for the next step. Receive wisdom for the next decision. Receive healing for the last disappointment. Receive strength to obey without striving and to wait without despair. I am still leading you. I am still ordering your steps. I am still able to open what no one can shut. This is not the end of your work story, beloved. This is the place where I begin to show you why I kept you, formed you, and repositioned you for such a time as this.